Looking at Hockey on Tap podcast, episode 129. Playoff hype is real. I'm your host, Bill Dean. Of course, here with my three co-hosts, Shorts Guy, Steve, and Schwimmer. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We are brought to you by Primetime Radio, courtesy of Sam Wu. I am behind the glass, though. Please leave us a 5-star review if you'd be so kind. Gents, what are we drinking?
I'll go first since I'm next to Billy Dean. I am continuing with the Pennings thread or whatever the hell you want, trend. I'm going with Cold Crash Hard Cider.
Ooh. They got some good ciders, Pennings.
They do.
They sure do.
It's worth a visit for anybody.
They're the reason I actually like cider now. Well, you love the donuts, Schwem.
I do love those cider donuts.
They are. The food over there is pretty good. It really is.
It is. So, yeah, I'm doing a cider.
Mine's as colorful as Schwem.
Oh,
that's what I went with. This is by Froth Brewing Company called Liquid Lollipop. They have a whole bunch of these that they've made. This one is with orange, dragon fruit, and prickly pear. Right up Billy Dean's alley. If only he had lactose, then he'd probably be drinking it instead of me.
He'd be all over it.
I'd be all over it.
I'm surprised you don't have I love lactose T-shirt.
I should get one just to piss off Steve, right?
You should
get a Rangers player tee with lactose on the back.
Lactose on the back. I love it. So, Steve. Now you know what to get me for Christmas.
There you
what
go.
number would it be?
Ooh,
I don't know, but you said lollipop or whatever that's called, and this is the only thing I thought of.
Lollipop. Lollipop. Dude.
Liquid lollipop. Oh my God, it's very red.
Jasper.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm
still drinking my never-ending nightmares. So I've had this a million times already. So I'm just trying to get through all this leftover beer I still have.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a real.
It's like
tragedy.
Straight candy.
Nice.
This tastes like candy.
Like the Inca
Candy's
Cola
good.
Beer.
All right, I am drinking courtesy of Hudson Valley as well as Bread Alone. It's a collab. It's called Entramit, and it is a pastry sour double IPA with cranberry and apple. So
and
a little bit of folly. No lactose. Not in this one. Whoa. Not in this one. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not sure I'm buying that.
It might say milk. It might say milk sugar on it somewhere.
No, because usually on the side, Hudson Valley is pretty good with. Usually on the side, they do put contains lactose. This one does not say it. It is delicious. That's a good beer.
Well, agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree. Oh, 1-1 Rangers Buffalo.
Boo.
I'm hoping it stays this score.
Boo.
I should have hung my overtime because I have Devon Levi and Shesterkin playing against Parker in the finals, so I need both of them to do very well.
Can I just comment? I think Schwim's the entire picture of what's happening in your frame is
awesome.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right word for it. There's a lot going on.
There is,
especially right in the middle there, where that
right here.
This area? Right there.
Not so much here or here. Right here.
Right here.
I thought I hit you in the shoulder.
All right, let's
jersey.
go to
Steven, if you want this jersey, I can get it for you.
That's some busy jerseys.
Got it. All right, let's continue.
I'll take a Tanner Janelle.
For today's Tanner Janelle,
he's not going to use it, so you might as well.
Here's what's on tap for today's episode. Obviously, we're coming down to the deadline. Each team has about 2 to 3 games left. Essentially, the playoffs are up for grabs for about 6 teams, which is pretty cool when you think about it. There's 2 spots in each division that are up. No one knows what's happening in the West. Teams are still trying to clinch divisions as well as who's going to be the 1 seeds. And this is probably the most exciting it's been in a little while. We remember last year we had the 8 teams in the playoffs for the East by was it Christmas? was like the first week
Yeah,
of
pretty
January.
much.
We knew the 8 teams
Yeah.
of the playoffs.
And positioning really didn't even change either.
No, yeah, pretty much did the same the entire time.
The Stars. Can I just comment? I'm looking at the scores here. The Stars are
Yeah.
up 5-0 with 10 shots on goal.
Wow.
Were they playing again?
Jesus.
Halfway through the second period. Detroit.
Detroit. Yeah, that
There
is
you go.
not good.
That's bad.
But yeah, we have. I think
Bones
it's
Stormy.
almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hey,
7,
Bone Storm just
8,
won a
9, 10.
championship.
We sure
Yeah,
did.
I know.
We got 20 games.
All right,
20
it's-
games are played right. Are
it's
being played right now. You know what's funny? I was looking at the ticket costs because they on ESPN they give you the ticket costs per as of that game for today. And do you know what the most expensive ticket is according to ESPN, which I think goes off of Ticketmaster? Do you know who the most
Arizona?
expensive game is today? Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah,
Get the hell out of here.
107 tickets. Tickets
but-
as low as $107.
Yeah, but
Wow.
think about
Actually
how
cheaper than
expensive
the
they
game
were
we
when
went
we
to.
went there.
Yeah.
Cheaper than
True.
They were so expensive when we went. Of course, it's Arizona.
But I mean, it's funny because it's Seattle at Arizona, so maybe Seattle's kind of driving that price up a little bit. But you wouldn't. I mean, I guess it makes sense because they have such a small arena; they have to charge a lot. But it's funny
Seattle
when you look through the
fans
list
travel.
and you have like tickets as low as $34, tickets as low as $17. Nashville at Calgary, you get a ticket for $17. Arizona,
huge game, too.
107. Yeah, it is a big
Well-
game. Playoff seeds.
Forgot to turn off my oven.
Well,
It's getting a little
so-
warm over here.
No bueno.
So we know that Boston obviously just clinched the 63 wins. They have the new record, 12 losses, 5 overtime losses. So they're President's Trophy winners. They have them in the bag. 131 points. It's the most since the was it 80 or 70 something Canadians. I think they have one more point than them. But you got Maple Leafs and Tampa.
oh no, I'm just going by wins. They have the Detroit and Tampa
They have
that
the most
had
wins.
that record for most wins, and now they just
At
broke it.
62. Yeah.
Yeah.
Toronto and Tampa clinched. They're going to play in the first round series. I think that's inevitable, right? Florida.
That's the only one that's
yeah,
locked in, I think.
that's the
yeah.
only one locked
Yeah.
in. So right now, Florida and Buffalo are still technically in the Atlantic. Buffalo's playing right now. They have 4 games left to play. They have the most of anybody. They're looking obviously to 3 games left to play. They're looking obviously to get a couple more points. They have 85, whereas in the Metro, so Florida has 91, Buffalo's 85. In the Metro, Islanders have 91 and Pittsburgh has 90. So 4 teams for 2 spots. Currently, right now, it's Florida and the Islanders hold that spot with Pittsburgh a point behind, and we said Buffalo at 5 points behind that. Where I think, actually, so the Metro is also clinched. Devils, the Rangers are definitely at that 3 spot. They cannot be jumped. And then it's just depends on Carolina and the Devils who wins that first spot in the division. Carolina has 3 games to play. Devils only have 2. So Carolina does have the advantage. Do you guys – so who do you think – we did this last week. Now we have a couple more games in hand. Who do you think makes that final 2 spots?
I can tell you who I want to make the final 2 spots.
Well, who you want, obviously. Now, we should say
The 2 that
Islanders
aren't
and
in are the
Panthers.
2 that I want in.
Well, it's Islanders and Panthers.
Yeah, the 2 that aren't in right now, Pittsburgh
Oh,
and
or the 2
Buffalo,
that you want.
are the 2 that I would want in. I don't want the
Yeah.
Islanders, and Florida's playing unbelievable right now, so I don't
See,
want them in.
I don't want the Islanders just because they're kind of boring, but I think they have the
Suck,
best chance of the 4 teams against the Bruins. I really do. I think they have the best chance because of the goaltender.
I don't know. I think if
I would like.
I don't want
I
to
would
go
like-
choice guy. I was just gonna say I hate the Islanders.
I was,
Well, agreed.
I don't disagree. I do as well. I would like to see Pittsburgh and Florida. I just want to throw that out there.
Thanks, guy.
Pittsburgh and Florida.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
I'm gonna be a little. I would like to see
Deanish?
Florida and Buffalo just because I want to see some new blood in Florida. Even though they won, they did pretty well last year. They're still up and coming, and I've seen a lot of Crosby in my lifetime. I don't really want to see much more because he's so good. And I know
that
that
doesn't make
he
sense.
puts on a show.
Nope.
Well, no, because
Nope,
like
doesn't make
I've
sense.
seen too much of him. I don't want. I'm kind of done with Crosby. I don't want to see anymore. I'm done.
Sounds like a Ranger fan
Done.
to me.
That sounds like a Ranger fan to me.
It is a Ranger fan.
So,
no, he's
Buffalo would
awesome.
need-
he just 1,500 points, the seventh person all time to get to that point. So we'll get to him in a minute. But
15th.
I said
1,500.
1,500. Oh, 15th. Yeah, that's right. Seventh
15.
seventh
So-
person with the same team. I'm sorry.
So Buffalo would have to win out, which they're not going to do because they'll lose to the Devils tomorrow. So they'll go 3-1.
Hopefully they lose the Rangers today.
If they do, they're out. If they lose tonight in regulation,
Well-
I'm pretty sure they're out.
I think they need to win their last
speaking of
three.
that, every time I've heard of Devin Levi in the last couple of days, I just think of that scene in The Simpsons where Homer and Marge are sitting there and he goes, Levi's. I think that truck is full of jeans. But aside from that, I would love to see them win 3 of their last 4, but that would only give them 91 points. Florida and the Islanders both have 91 points.
They could only get to 91.
That would
You know what would be great? You know what would be great? Since William is talking about how these Ranger fans has bought out all these blocks to the Devil game.
We'll talk
if they
to
don't
that in a
even
minute,
play,
yeah.
if they don't even play them.
That'd
That'd be amazing, actually.
It would be very funny.
Oh, that would be awesome.
We'll get to that tagline in a minute because Devils fans, you get them priced out of your own arena, and it's very funny to see.
Because you're priced out of your arena.
So,
Yeah,
we're
that's true.
priced out of every arena.
I don't know. I just got my email about my tickets. It's pretty damn reasonable if you ask me. Yeah.
All right. So Western Conference, you only have one spot open. It's between the Jets, Predators, Calgary Flames. Right now, the Jets lead by a point, and they have 2 games in hand on Calgary. Or sorry, 1 game in hand on Calgary, and Nashville has the same amount of games, but they're 3 points behind the Winnipeg, so they need Winnipeg to kind of cancel themselves out. Right now, there's still no technical winner of the division or the conference. Vegas Golden Knights are 107. Next is Edmonton Oilers at 105, and then you have Colorado Avalanche at 104. Oilers have been red hot, 9-0-1 in their last 10, kind of pressing Vegas for that Division A and then the Conference B. Do you guys think that Colorado should put on the Jets to secure that 1 seed, or just kind of go about your business and?
Yes, you want the 1
I think
seed.
they should go.
I think all those teams should try to win out, and you want to be the 1
home
seed.
ice.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'm not super concerned if the Devils didn't get a 1 seed and not have home ice, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean,
I was listening to you, so.
if I'm Colorado, I mean, if I'm New Jersey, you want to lock the 1 seed too. But as a fan, you guys have had such a successful season. I think finishing 1 or 2. You want home ice, but still, you're just grateful to be there. And the 2 spot is more than okay.
Yeah, but I also look at our road record over the course of the season, which was pretty damn good. So that's why I'm not too concerned if.
Yeah, but you still want home ice.
It's
Home ice
nice
is
to have
nice.
home.
Yeah,
It's nice to have that in your back pocket.
It is nice to have it in your back pocket, but because of our road record all season, I'm really not super concerned if we were not, by not having it. But
right.
I would rather play the Rangers in the first round. And I admitted this last night in the Let's Go Devils podcast. I want to play the Rangers in the first round because I have a lot of Rangers suck shirts that I want to sell. I'm looking at it as a purely selfish business
cash grab.
standpoint. Oh yeah, I'll take
Those
that
things
damn
will go.
cash
Those
grab.
things will go like hotcakes if they're playing the Rangers first round.
Absolutely
Tell
would.
them,
I know.
oh my
I
god,
know.
those will
Hey,
go like
good
hotcakes,
God.
guy.
Summer's coming up. I got to save up.
Suck.
Do hotcakes sell?
Anymore? I don't know. Do hotcakes still exist?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Can we
I
change
guess
that
our
to something else?
Hotcakes are pancakes, right? Is there any difference between a hotcake and a pancake?
They were like those microwavable pancakes you would get like from the supermarket. Is basically what they were. Truman, I used to make them.
There's a subtle difference on how you prepare a hot cake versus a pancake. Pancakes are wide and have a fluffy texture, whereas hotcakes tend to be thicker and denser.
And hotcakes are prepared in the microwave.
It's just that simple.
Or you can get flapjack.
Then, what's a flapjack? Yeah, what's the difference in a flapjack then?
A Canadian
Yes.
pancake?
Flapjacks are
Canadian
pancakes unless you live in the UK. But
great hockey podcasting, guys. Well,
It could
we're
be
talking about
something
flap-
else, but this is the family show, and we're not going to get into
Yeah, I was going to say that.
That's what
all
first
right,
came
you
to my
guys
mind.
think
But, you know,
Western Conference? You think Winnipeg takes the final spot, or do you think Calgary?
I think so. I think don't
Winnipeg.
if Winnipeg wins tonight, aren't they in? Or they need if they win and somebody loses,
No.
they're in.
They need to win, and they need Calgary to lose.
All right, so if that happens tonight, boom. Yeah, I like.
Yeah.
Winnipeg,
Yeah, if
definitely.
they
Just-
win tonight, they're with 2 games left. They got 3 points up on Calgary,
yeah,
Yeah, but
So,
then if
yeah.
they lose out the next one, yeah.
and they're smoking. So there's no. If they lose to San Jose, they don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
It's
true.
All right, Boston Bruins, 131 points. We just talked about it. 63 wins, the new record. If they win the cup, so they have 2 games left. Say they go 64 wins, 13 losses, 5 overtime losses. They have 133 points. They win the Stanley Cup. Are they the best team ever, A? And is it comparable? Because no one's ever going to win 82 games in an NHL season. It's not possible. I don't even think anyone will ever win 70 games in an NHL season. I just don't think that's possible. Are they comparable to those, to like a Miami Dolphins undefeated season and a Super Bowl win? Are they comparable to like the greatest seasons in other sports history?
Yes. Yeah, because
Absolutely.
it's the greatest. It's the greatest season in hockey history. So
NFL
yeah, they
history.
got to be up there.
if they go the whole way, yeah.
Now,
Yeah, which they should.
If they don't make a cup final, if they lose in the conference finals, or worse,
Or before
in the second or
possible.
first,
these President's
they-
Trophy
is
winning
this-
teams.
is this the
Don't have
Depending on if they
worst?
stumble in the playoffs.
Is this the worst season for a top team of all time?
It would be a huge letdown. Well, yeah,
Is
they
it
have
the biggest upset?
Oh,
Yeah, big,
Is it the biggest upset?
big letdown.
I mean,
yes.
being swept in the first round after having
Yeah.
tied the
That's a
NHL
bad
record
one.
for wins is probably
Yeah, true.
still the worst.
that's up there.
Especially that Columbus team was pretty bad. So,
They're terrible. They got smoked in the
Yeah.
second round. It was so bad.
and if Boston loses in the first round, people will be surprised, but I don't think anybody in that wild card, any of those teams in the wild card position, are necessarily bad. All of them, basically all of them, within the last 3 years, you could say, were all considered to compete for the cup.
Mhm.
Even as far as last year, even at some point this year or going into this year, Florida is you're talking about Florida competing for the cup. The Islanders are always
They
in
were-
the discussion,
Your
and Penguins are
President's,
just kind of
winners last year.
pesky. But yeah, so I don't know. So even if they lose in the first round, even if they get swept in the first round, I still don't. Sorry, Shum, I still don't think it's as bad as getting swept by that Columbus team.
Why do we got to bring up old
You can
Old
blame
things,
the
memories? And now
Podcast-
I'm sad.
All right.
podcast leader over there.
Here
Yeah,
is the
seriously.
other little tidbit. There has been only one team that won the Stanley Cup after being there's 2 teams that have won the Stanley Cup and the President's Trophy in the season. It's the Detroit Red Wings in, what was it, 05-06, right? And then the lockout shortened Chicago Blackhawks in what was that, 2012-13? They
05?
played the whole season, right?
Yeah, that one.
Oh no, yeah. Sorry. 07-08 was the 115 that they won the Stanley Cup. That was the Red Wings, and then after that it was the Chicago Blackhawks. So only 2 teams have won the President's Trophy and the Stanley Cup, as it's been awarded.
President's Trophy is-
In terms of
It's
No,
almost the
that's
kiss
not
of death.
true.
There's
Ever?
only 2 teams that have. No, it can't be. Those have to be like
that's
the
not
2
true.
most
The other
recent ones.
because the other ones were before was a salary cap, I think. When you look at like Rangers in 93-94,
We're talking in the salary cap era.
Salary cap era. Thank you. Sorry. Now, so no team has ever won more than 119 points and won the Stanley Cup. So you have Tampa Bay 128, they lost. Florida Panthers 122, they lost. Washington Capitals 2015-16.
Forgetting they won the President's Trophy last year. I thought it was Colorado.
Yeah. Nope. The Capitals in 15-16, 120 points, they lost. Vancouver Canucks 117, they lost. 120. Washington had more. Also, Red Wings lost when they. I think that 05-06 season when they had 124 points, which was one of the best teams I've ever seen. 05-06, they lost in the conference finals, quarterfinals. So, no team has ever had 119 more points and won a Stanley Cup. So Boston is hoping to break that trend of the 10th team to possibly do it, which would be very exciting if they lost. I'm rooting for a big loser. So.
The NHL playoffs are a completely different beast.
Yeah.
I mean, you typically you'll see the teams who should win do win as far as series go. I would say. But yeah, I mean, you always have that one series that's like a major upset, right?
Yeah.
But then the other series kind of go the way that you think that it went, and then somebody ends up winning the cup. And it's usually the team who you think is going to win that ends up winning. But yeah, it's you never know. You have this massive success in the regular season, and it really means nothing, even if they lose in 7 games in the Stanley Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, we talked about it. Sidney Crosby, 1,500 points, 15th person ever to do that. 7th player to do it with one team. I mean, the guy's ridiculous. He's a legend. Steve, we were talking about when you were over the house. Is his signature play that backhand? We saw him have that ridiculous backhand which game was that? Was that against? Just trying to remember who they played on Saturday.
Oh, it was past Saturday?
Oh, Detroit, right?
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Is that his signature? He had another one. I can't remember the game. I think it was like the previous weekend. It was the one. Who did he undress? I even sent the highlight video. It was a couple weeks ago, I think. Some defenseman he undressed and he let loose this backhand that went far corner, top shelf. I mean, yeah. Everybody knows him for it. His backhand is basically like a right-handed forehand.
Yep.
A lot of times, and most of the goalies will, tell you exactly the same. So it's something to behold. Even now, still, the guy's 36.
Jesus Christ. 6-0 Dallas.
6-0. God,
wow.
It's not ending.
Connor McDavid, 151 points.
He's already
first
dead.
person. Connor McDavid, 151. He's the first ever. He's the first player since Lemieux to do 150 points. We keep saying it every week. 64 goals, 87 assists. He could have hit the 90 assist mark, which hasn't been done since Gretzky. I don't know. What can you guys say? It's ridiculous, right? That's all it is.
It's insane.
Is this? Can he keep up this kind of scoring pace in the playoffs? Pretty much about 2 points a game.
He does.
Could.
I mean, he's in these past playoffs. It wasn't because he wasn't producing at an alarming rate.
It's not like he's not going to be playing the same teams that he's been playing against all season. So, it does get a little bit tighter in the playoffs, but he's not going to be shooting against the likes of an Arizona or a San Jose. That's for sure.
Anaheim with their 120 whatever negative goal differential.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, Anaheim to lose.
That's an accomplishment right there.
That is pretty great. They should get some kind of award for that, I think.
They should.
What was that, Anaheim?
They should get a banner.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it for Calgary. Right there, they're fighting for a playoff spot, and they have a record which is incredible. They've lost 23 games when outshooting the opponent by more than 10 shots per game. Like that's
Toronto up 1-0.
crazy.
Just
it's
poor Gibson.
It's,
Negative
I just-
negative 126. They are
That's
sitting
awesome.
at right now.
that is so awesome.
Yeah.
Also pretty cool.
2-1 ranges.
Yep. There's 9 guys.
Columbus
with over
isn't
100
too far
points.
back. I didn't realize that. Columbus negative 113.
We just beat them like 8-0 or 8-1 the other night, so they're letting up
Yeah.
goals. You know,
They're trying. There's quite a race for the bottom right now. 2 at 56,
really
1 at
is.
58.
Oh, we're
Well,
gonna
that's
talk
because
about the race to the
they-
bottom in a second.
it's because Columbus traded away their goaltending legend, Jonathan Quick. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
true.
why. That was the
Also,
downfall of the season.
Korpisalo's played pretty well in LA.
He's going to be the starter in the playoffs, I think.
He might be.
They're not going to go
Yeah,
with.
More
you
than
think-
likely.
I don't think they're going to go with Copley.
No.
Him either.
9
I don't
players-
think they're going to go with him either.
9 players in the NHL with 100 points. The most that we've seen in our lifetimes, right, is the 95-96 season where you had 12. Right now on the doorstep, you have Elias Pettersson has 99, Carlson 98, Mitch Marner 98, and then Hughes, which could be the 13th player, has 96. He obviously has 2 games left to hit it. You know, he needs 4 points in 2 games, so we'll see if that happens. But we could tie at least that record, which would be it's a pretty good feat. I mean, we haven't seen this type of scoring in quite a while, I feel like. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, seeing these guys get it up. Other question for you guys: Erik Karlsson, 98 points. He's a minus 19 though. If he hits 100 points, does it pretty much assure him of a Norris win?
Probably. Because so
Probably.
often it just goes to the highest scoring defenseman usually ends up winning it.
So my question
He
to
scored
the writers
Is that 99 now?
is it? This is probably
Or is that
from,
98?
Yeah, I think it's 98. Or no, he'd be at 99 because this is just for today. It's pre games, so he's
Before,
at 99.
yeah. So he's at 99 then.
So my question to the writers would be, Roman Josi had 98 points last year and he did not get the Vezina. I know Cale Makar had a ridiculous season, but if you're just going off of points, should Roman Josi have gotten that last year with arguably a better season?
Yes, Roman Josi should have gotten the Norris yesterday. I think we already talked about this. Roman Josi should have absolutely won the Norris last year.
He should have.
There's no doubt in my mind.
But so my question is, why does this differ this season? Where if he's going to get 100 points, why does 2 points make the big difference?
2 points?
Other defensemen have had. Yeah, he's 2 points. Well, now he's a point away from.
He's 25 points ahead of the next highest scoring defenseman.
Yeah, he's too far ahead to.
He's got 23 goals.
Pretty much.
So it's just he's as far as like his offensive talent, this is almost historic at this point. So yeah, they're going to go with that. And I'm not going to downplay any of these other guys' seasons because I think a lot of them have had great seasons. Like Dougie Hamilton in New Jersey's had a great season. Rasmus Dahlin has had a great season. But, they're great seasons. But what Karlsson is doing right now is,
on a crap
approaching on a terrible team, approaching record setting on in this whatever salary cap era you want to call it. So
should the goal differential that he has, which I think is like 27 goals, he's minus 27.
Well, I think
should that matter?
The definition of the trophy needs to change. And we've talked about this too, about offensive defensemen and overall defensemen. They should be 2 different accolades because I think in the past he has won Norris trophies because of how good his offensive output has been while lacking defensively pretty significantly, and he still does lack defensively. There's no doubt about that, but just this amount of points that he has, I mean, he's at tops in the league, amongst forwards in points, which is insane. So yeah, if you got to give a defenseman a trophy for something, I mean, what he's accomplished is crazy. So he kind of has to win, something. Unfortunately, there's not 2 different trophies. So if there's going to go if there's a trophy that's going to go to a defenseman, and it's the Norris, it's got to be him.
Okay.
I don't think he's the best
playing a
defenseman in the
little
league,
devil's
but I
advocate.
think what he's doing offensively is insane.
It is. He's been awesome this year. I can tell because he's on my fantasy team. He's been fantastic. I mean, 98 points is ridiculous. First person since, if he hits 100, he's the first person since Brian Leach. And it's quite an accomplishment. It's just the fact that his team sucks so badly, and he has been on the ice for a lot more goals against than goals for.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people were
he only
about
has
that.
98. He has 98 points. Only 29 of those are on the power play.
Yeah,
and he's a minus 19. So you factor in all of those extra points.
No, actually,
and then
25 on the power play, not 20. 25.
25 power play. Yes, I'm sorry. 25 power play points. 4 power play goals. I was adding those together. Yeah, so 25 power play points. Yeah, so you subtract 25 from the 98, and then you have 73 points.
Still pretty damn good.
And so he's been on for that, plus 20 goals
29.
against. That's a lot of
29.
goals. That's a lot of goals to be on the ice for.
It's bad. Yeah. All right. So obviously this season, I mean, we have
So he's basically been on the ice for 98 goals against. Essentially.
Sorry, possibly 17 guys that could, or possibly 18 guys that could hit 90 points, which is really cool on its own. Here's my question to you guys. Do you know which team has the most players with 30-plus points?
Seattle.
Did you see this already? You son of a
No,
bee?
I know it.
Yeah, it is Seattle. How many players, Shrim?
Don't they have? They have like at least 10 players with 10 or more goals. I thought I saw something like that. Yeah,
13
nuts.
players with 30-plus or more points. There's 4 other teams that are tied with 11: Bruins, Rangers, Canadians. Habs and Calgary. So pretty ridiculous accomplishment as well for.
They can still move up. They can move past LA. I think if they win and LA shits the bed.
So they have 98 points. LA has 100, and Seattle has a game in hand. So
I like Seattle.
I do too. I like them. I think they're. Vince Dunn's another guy that could get Norris consideration. He's been really good.
He's had a great season.
I don't want to talk about Vince Dunn.
Yeah, why don't you give that little tidbit that you gave us?
I don't even remember all of the details. I just remember that Pittsburgh traded
Gustafsson,
Vince Dunn, Philip Gustafsson, who's having an amazing season on Minnesota, the pick that turned into Keandre Miller, for Derek Brassard.
Yeah, Derek Brassard. Great trade. Yeah, it's fun when you go back and look at some of this. He's doing good. For another team, actually.
Sometimes I'm surprised. Like his name comes up, and I'm always shocked he's still in the league.
Yeah, I think he's after the season, right? He broke his leg, if I remember rightly.
I don't remember. I don't even remember who he's on, to be honest with you.
All right. Just because I saw this today, do you think the NHL should or will change the LTIR rule? The question comes up after the Knights Twitter account shows Mark Stone skating for the first time after his $7.25 million cap on LTIR for most of the season. He had a back injury. People are already questioning it, like they should have for a little while. Apparently, he's going to be ready for the playoffs.
Same thing with
the NHL need
Landeskog, of course.
Yeah, with Landeskog. Does the NHL need to make a rule that you have to play a certain amount of games before you can be playoff eligible by the end of the season?
No, I don't like that.
No? Is there something they can do?
I think there needs to be something as far as how you count the salary against the cap. I think they need. I don't know how. I don't have the answer for that. But I think that's what they need to look at. But I don't want to believe that doctors are fudging guys' recoveries just to keep them on LTIR until the playoffs. I don't want to believe that. Like that's a lot to ask of a doctor. But not to say that there's no corrupt doctors or anything out there. I'm sure there are, but I don't want to, because you can't just chill on LTIR. You can't. Like you need to be like, if you're healthy, you're off. You can't just be like, we don't have cap space to activate you, so you're hanging out on LTIR. It doesn't work that way.
There are plenty Dr. Nicks out there. There are plenty.
All right,
Nick
should you
Rivieras
have
out
to
there.
play?
Yeah.
Should you have to play in the final game of the season to be eligible for the playoffs?
No, I don't think it should have to do with
Ask that again?
games played.
Okay.
Ask that again.
Should you have to play in the final game of the season? So, theoretically, the last game of the season is going to be Thursday. They then play on Monday. It's 3 days later. Are those 3 days really going to make a difference in your health or not? Seriously?
I think they do need to revisit the LTIR thing because we saw a couple.
I don't think it. Yeah, the playing time though. I don't agree with it because there are guys that were legitimately injured who just can't play.
Yeah.
I know we're looking at the situation because it looks fishy, but
we're
there's
looking
guys
at a
who
logo of the team that took advantage of it too.
Yes, we sure are.
They started it all.
Who coined
they
it?
started it all.
Yes.
I think they do have to make the change. What that change is, I have no idea, but they do need to make that change. And
maybe
they just have to call it the Tampa rule. There's got to be something.
TBL rule. Make him maybe ineligible. They can't play game 1 or game 2 or whatever. They can't play the first game in the series or something like that.
A simple fix is that the cap still applies to the playoffs. That's the simplest.
I like it too.
Of solutions. But you're allowed. What did they call the during COVID the reserve squad that they had or whatever they brought up, you can have that, for injuries. You carry those guys for injuries, but you keep the cap into the playoffs, and that's the easiest solution, right?
Yeah, I would like to see teams lose draft picks, but
what about so you keep, let's say you keep the cap into the playoff, but you have to. Let's say you can roster that player, but your roster for that particular night has to fall within the cap space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say Mark Stone.
Cap should count.
Let's say Mark Stone is eligible to play, but you have to move, X amount of dollars in players for him to be on the ice
to fit him in the lineup. Yeah.
To fit him in the lineup.
I don't think any of this is going to happen, but.
Yeah, it was just all of a sudden, sometimes I think teams shoot themselves in the foot. They send out a video of Mark Stone coming out of the locker room, and he looks awesome. And he's not going to play in the final 2 games when he's clearly out there and, moving around like you would think he would be. Teams, very funny. All right, some other quick things. Quinnipiac wins in overtime to secure the first national championship.
That was awesome.
Quinnipiac, 29 years in the with a D1 team. They've been dog poop for about 26 of those years.
You see the Selly on the game winner?
Yeah,
the Timu Solani.
Timu
Solani out there.
That's nice.
And an awesome play off the face-off. To have that
10 seconds
your first play to start was crazy. Minnesota State of Hockey, they tough way to lose. That penalty didn't lead to the goal, but they get the power play and kind of fed off that. They pull their goalie, they score 6-on-5.
Yeah.
I know that kind of hurt Minnesota and it kind of deflated the room, but Quinnipiac, great, just awesome game. You saw Rob Brindamore, who made his flight from Buffalo, Steve, actually. We talked about it. It wasn't in Carolina.
Oh, they were in Buffalo. Okay.
So that's, a pretty good job by him to get to sit there to see his son on the opening, on that face-off to win it and get it to the teammates. And he's awesome at face-off. They said he had something like 70% win percentage, Brindamore. I was like, he better have that. His dad's one of the best face-off guys of all time. If he's not good, he sucks.
Somebody's got to teach Tommy Petrillo that.
70%
win face-off win.
70% win.
Yeah, we don't win a lot of face-offs on Bone Storm. Especially last game, I noticed. We maybe won a single-digit amount of face-offs.
Well,
in the low single digits.
Next late game, I'll come and I'll show you how to win face-offs.
There we go.
Somebody.
I don't remember that.
Captain. I was a good face-off guy. I'm a good face-off guy.
I don't remember any of that.
I think you just bowl the guy over and we get the puck.
Exactly.
Knock him over.
Minnesota Gophers obviously losing. Wild got Brock Faber, who's the captain, and he's going to possibly play in the playoffs. Another young gun for a team that needs them, especially with their cap issues. TJ Oshie's done for the season due to injury. So goodbye to one of the sneaky, dirty players in the NHL. Islanders' Bo Horvat just delivering a shot to Vancouver fans with his jab saying it's better than Vancouver. You play there for 9 years. Like, how much vitriol
I hope
can you
that
have
comes back
against a
to
team?
bite him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't
Like,
know how
well,
it's
how
going
can you-
to, but
But
like
then
when are Vancouver and the
not
Islanders
make it.
going to meet in the playoffs?
Not that, just
Oh
like
yeah,
the
yeah. If they
Islanders
don't make
not
it,
make
yeah.
Just regular season.
Yeah.
And
That's what I hope happens.
So it'll be interesting when they do go to Vancouver next year. I don't know. But on the other hand, it's like if that's the truth, you don't hear players talk the truth like that anymore. So that could also be another side to this story as well. Kind of whipping
Well,
up
and
how
if
they
he
feel about
if
it
he
too.
legitimately likes, if he legitimately is happier and says it's better than Vancouver, like, what can you do? That's just how it is. I don't
Maybe,
actually
like,
doubt that it is.
Maybe this is completely out of context. Maybe somebody asked him like, "Oh, how's the shrimp scampi over in New York?" And he's like,
that
better
was
than
not.
Vancouver. Better than Vancouver.
was
And the guy
not
took it
the
and ran with it.
context.
Like, "Oh, he's saying Vancouver sucks and he likes the Islanders better." I'm pretty sure they were talking about shrimp scampi and bread.
He might be. Yeah,
heard
he
that
might be
shit.
right.
I think I
Yeah,
might be
well,
onto
There
something.
was there were some
Shrimp
rumors
scampi and
that
bread.
I guess because Toronto Raptors could possibly make the playoffs, they're playing in a play-in game, that it could move one of the Tampa Toronto
Ooh.
games to be back-to-back, which
Oh, boy.
Tampa was
Great.
like, F no. They right
Yeah,
away were
really.
like, F no, we're not playing
No.
back-to-backs.
You know how many games we
with
played
their
in the last friggin' couple of years? No.
injuries. No one feels sorry for you.
Oh, please.
Nope.
What potential games would these be? We're looking at early
it
in
would
the
be, I
round,
think, 3 and
later in the
4.
round?
3 and 4 in Toronto.
So Tampa's games? No.
Oh, sorry, no,
3 and 4
sorry.
would be in Tampa.
5 and is it 5 and 6? It was one of
5
the, it
and
was,
6
it
would
was the one
be
of the,
Toronto, Tampa.
Oh, that's
Okay.
right. Because
Well,
they
I
go
mean-
1-1-1-1. Yeah, whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Maybe it's 1 and
Tampa's going
2.
to get swept in.
Maybe.
Tampa will be swept in 4 games anyway, so it's not going to really make a difference.
I was on the choice guy bandwagon against the Rangers.
Swim.
Now I might be switching over to the blue side
You can
after
come
that
over.
comment.
You can absolutely come over.
Swim.
Um,
Just remember,
I
if
want
that
my
does
boy
happen,
Pally.
just remember, if that does happen, there is a couch here for you
That's true.
because I know you're probably going to need to be escaping for a couple days.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I might be kicked out before the end of game 1.
You might be.
I
I
might not have to
think-
wait for a sweep.
This year might be the year that we finally stream you watching a game.
Because it might go very sideways
I asked.
based on their
I asked.
play of late.
I asked Steven this. 11 teams have a shot at Connor Bedard. Right now, they would be the Blue Jackets, Blackhawks, Ducks, Sharks, Canadians, Coyotes, Flyers, Capitals, Canucks, Red Wings, and the St. Louis Blues. What team, if they were to get Connor Bedard, would be instant contenders? Tough, but a legitimate playoff team. Steven, me and him kind of agreed. Probably Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got pieces there. That'd be
Yeah, that
pretty
would
good.
be.
Could you
yeah.
see Detroit, St. Louis?
Instant contenders? No. Eventual? Yes.
Nah.
Playoff
Yeah, I don't think anybody's
next year.
off the bat like playoff contender. Like, probably can make the play. I think Vancouver. They have. I mean, you add Bedard to that already potent offense. You have the Quinn Hughes. You can build around defensively, and Thatcher Demko as your backstop. You have
He's
three
Helga,
key three key pieces and some complementary pieces too.
Pedersen,
It's just
yeah.
I don't understand why they're as bad as they are. To be completely honest, I
Yeah.
don't know what goes on there or whatever. But they do have some defensemen who are way over the hill.
I think
and
they're
overrated.
top 12 in goals scored. Like they've been that good. They just have let up terrible amount of goals. The other defense, yeah, Steven's right. Like the back half of their defense is god awful. You look at what is it? Ethan Bear's okay, but OEL has been horrible for them. Ronick is good.
Tyler Myers.
He's a good. Tyler Myers is another one. They're just not.
He's gotta
have
go.
not been very good.
If they can build up that
6-8-3-3.
back end and continue scoring like they do and adding Bedard into that scoring, they could absolutely.
They already have.
Yeah,
they already have
playoff
the pieces. They already have the pieces in play to build a franchise around. You have your goalie, your franchise goalie, franchise defenseman, your Connor Bedard, as well as JT Miller and Elias Pettersson, right, and Kuzmenko, who's no slouch.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He's come on.
From the podcast, Brock Besser, like Connor Garland's a good piece. Vitaly Kravtsov sucks, but
So immediately, I think it's.
decent.
I don't think that they will land the number 1 overall pick, but
It'd be great for him to go home playing Vancouver.
Who's everybody's pick for number 1? Who's getting the number 1 pick? I know mine.
I'd like to think that there is a fix and that Vancouver would get it.
Chicago.
That'd be awesome. That's who I picked too. I think Chicago's getting it.
I do not want.
Hands down.
No, I can't.
I don't want.
No,
I don't want them to get it, but I think
It's
they're going to. I think that's what's going to happen.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Like
They lose Kane and Taves basically, and then they get the next superstar.
I don't want Chicago. I don't want Montreal, and I don't want Philly. Any other team, I'm okay with.
I definitely don't want Philly.
Oh my god!
I actually don't want. I don't want any of them, to be honest with you. I don't want any of the bottom teams. Maybe Anaheim, because I don't really care about them. But like, I don't want Columbus. Yeah, but
what about him playing with Zegras?
Yeah, that'd be exciting.
Anaheim.
Those two would be really fun.
Yeah, that would be exciting to see him playing with Zegras. Maybe give Gibson a reason to stay in Anaheim because they would need.
Steven wants him out of there.
Right.
I know.
Leo,
stop.
Everyone knows he's going to Arizona. I mean, that would be the ultimate fix, right? Like Bedard saves.
He goes to Arizona.
Yeah, I mean,
they're just like waiting this whole time for the number 1 overall pick. Every year they've been atrocious. They've been just waiting until now to get a number 1 pick.
They outsmarted all of us.
They're like, yeah, exactly.
He gets to play. He gets to live and play on a college campus. I think he would love it.
Ooh. Yeah,
he would like
experience
that.
while being
especially that college campus.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You're
right.
getting
Especially
a college experience while playing NHL hockey. That's fantastic.
Yep.
What kid
Or his
wouldn't
career
want
goes to shit because of it.
I
don't know that
he's been partying.
Yeah, he takes a page out of the book of Daniel Briere's son or something. Does something stupid.
There is that bar with the happy hour special till 6 p.m. So
it's true. I like that place.
Yeah,
we'll meet him there.
That's a good spot.
Yep, we'll do an impromptu podcast in Arizona again and meet him there.
Again, we're gonna have to go back to Arizona, so that's for sure.
We're in. Did you guys see that Ottawa Florida game? 10 ejections, 166 PIMs. It was the most this season in a game. Panthers won 7-2, being outshot 58-30. And that obviously that game officially eliminated the Senators from playoff contention. But yeah, 10 ejections, including Coach DJ Smith. There was some big hits, including DeBrincat on Tkachuk, and then Tkachuk on DeBrincat, which knocked him out of the game. Last question, really for you guys. Maple Leafs, they call up their e-bug. His name is escaping me right now.
Was that Alexander or something like that?
Yeah,
He
Jet
really wasn't
Alexander.
E-bug, wasn't he? Wasn't he? Oh no, he's the one that got into the game, correct?
Yeah,
they put him in like the last minute or something.
Left.
Yeah.
Why?
So,
why'd they do that?
Well, because they're up 7-1.
Yeah.
So Schwim, that actually is a good question for you. Do you think it's a little bogus or shouldn't happen? Do you think, if you're like, are you making a mockery kind of the e-bug situation? Like, all right, we're up 7-1. We'll give this kid who has no chance of ever playing the NHL, we'll give him a minute to pretend like he played in the NHL.
Yeah, it's just like, I think
it wasn't a real injury situation.
No, they meant well. They're like, oh, let's give this kid, the last minute of the game. But I don't know. I kind of feel like it's kind of, I don't know. It's like, it's almost like not real in a sense. Like it's not like a real accomplishment, or I don't know however you want to word it. But it's just like, I feel kind of, I don't know. I feel a little iffy about it. I think like him if you're gonna play him in a game where he's like, it's his turn, he's the backup or something, and he's playing the second of a back-to-back or to get his first, NHL action, not just thrown in a 7-1 game at the end of the season for shits and giggles. I don't know. I'm just, I'm not crazy about it.
A couple things about that situation. One, apparently that that decision came from upper management to put him in. Apparently, that decision came from up top down to the coaching staff to put him in. And they're going with another ATO, amateur tryout, for backup goaltender tonight in their game. They've got another ATO as their backup tonight because I guess they just can't bring up a goalie until the playoffs because of their cap situation. So they've got another guy that is not really on the roster that they're basically paying, whatever minimum wage is, if that's what they pay him, to sit there on the bench tonight. Maybe they pay him in a jersey. I have no idea, but so they're doing it again tonight. So I'm curious because who are they playing tonight? Who's Toronto playing?
Florida.
Florida. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That game should be a little bit closer, so there really shouldn't be a situation to put him in. But if that game goes sideways, they're going to have to put in another amateur into net to try to win the game. So, but I guess their cap situation's forcing them to do it. I mean, I think
I'm happy for the kid. I'm happy he got into a game and everything, but I would like to see him get into a game under, I guess, like better circumstances. I don't know, but I'm happy for the kid. Yeah, you got to play in an NHL game. I'm sure he was friggin' ecstatic.
But he didn't face any shots. He didn't face any shots.
No, that's what I'm saying. He came in for like a minute. I don't know.
And you've got a lot of great stories with the e-bug situation. David Ayers is one of the bigger ones, and you got the one in Chicago that was really cool. You've got the one from a couple weeks ago in Edmonton, which apparently Connor McDavid was the catalyst of him going into that game. So
we almost had Cujo in a game.
Almost like Cujo in a game. So there are a lot of cool stories about it. Hopefully it's not going to turn into some kind of a gimmicky thing where it's happening more and more and more. Where it's just. But then again, if I was an e-bug, I'd be chomping at the bit to hopefully get game time. But I'd probably be pretty damn nervous. Like, all right, well, don't put me in if it's like a tight game, because I can't promise I'm going to stop an NHL shot. But just to have one save would be pretty rad if you get into that situation. It shouldn't be overdone. I think occasionally it's pretty cool, but it shouldn't be overdone. That's for sure.
Yeah, if this becomes like a Toronto's doing this like all the time now or something like that, it's going to be. People then are going to start be like, all right, enough already with this. Yeah, we get it. But I don't know, I don't know. I guess I'm torn on it. Like, I'm happy for the kid who was able to get in and everything, but like just under how they did it, I don't know. I'd want my first experience to be like an actual game. Like I'm playing in a game, not just thrown in for no reason, basically.
I agree.
I mean, you say that now, but if you were sitting on the bench and they said, listen, we got a minute left, you want to go in? You'd say yes.
Well,
absolutely.
For him.
That's why I'm torn. That's why I'm torn. I'm saying absolutely. I'm sure he was thrilled. And good for him. What's his name again? Jet.
Short and simple.
Yeah, Jet Alexander. All right. We'll quickly get out of here. I was just there's a couple things I want to talk to you guys. We'll talk about the draft later on. Some ideas. People are asking about having to stop tanking again, and everybody knows that it's just crazy how teams are able to just kind of while away and get a points percentage. But last couple games, it's exciting. We got a Buffalo game right now. They're trying to get some points so they can stay in the playoff race. A lot of other teams trying to make up ground and secure some big time playoff positions. So. You guys got anything else before we hang her up for tonight?
Negative.
We're going to make our playoff picks next week.
Yep, we're going to do it next week. We're probably going to do a show on Monday, regular time. We'll go quick with it so we can get everybody's picks out there. And, it's obviously going to be better than Schwimm's pick from Schwimm and Shorts guy's pick from this past from the beginning of the season. So
before the season started,
to my guns. I'm going to stick to my guns.
I think I might stick with Toronto, Colorado.
What were yours?
Well, I think I'm going to stick to the winner.
You said
Mine
Dallas
Dallas
beating Carolina.
Who, me?
I forget who I picked.
No.
Me.
So here, I had Toronto versus Colorado with Colorado winning again. Steve had Dallas winning over Carolina. Schwimm had Carolina losing to Calgary, which
Carolina losing to Calgary?
Yeah. And then Shorts guy had Florida beating Calgary.
Okay.
So I guess everybody's technically still in it. There was about 2 weeks ago, you guys were hurting right there, but
like if one of us picked Anaheim or Columbus or like somebody was way off or something,
that'd be pretty terrible.
Or Vancouver with Thatcher Demko winning the Conn Smythe.
Yeah, let's not forget that one.
I didn't forget it. I brought it up myself.
A real good one, Steve.
Yep.
All right, my beer, Entremont, cranberry apple. I will give it a solid 4.
All right.
Okay.
I give it 4.25 to Cold Crash. It's very enjoyable.
Nice.
I'm giving it 3.75 to mine. It's good, but it's just way too sweet.
My nightmares are always 4 and above, so I'll go 4.25.
4 and above.
Shrimp, I'm gonna take this one. Here's to Rangers fans buying out the Prudential Center. I love it. Good job, Rangers fans.